And on today's video, we're going to talk about how I, as an employee, can review my hours worked. So to do that, I'm going to first log into the dashboard. So once again, I'm going to identify myself, and then I'm going to click on the Log On to Dashboard button at the very bottom. And to go ahead and get started on reviewing my time, you'll see that I have a little window here on the dashboard that shows my time worked. So I can come in here, take a look at it, review it. If I wanted to, approve it, I agree that I worked that time and I want to get paid for that time, I can just place a check mark on the left-hand side of the segments. And that's pretty much it, pretty simplistic. Now, let's say I wanted to review my time a little bit deeper or take a look at it a little bit more closely, and maybe I want to leave a note. Who knows? To do that, what I can do is I can scroll a little bit up right above the dashboard. You'll see that there is a bar, a green bar. And one of the options that I have here is the view option. So I can click on that, and that brings up, more options to choose from. And one of them is the hours option. So I'm going to click on that. And what would happen is it'll take me to a page that gives me a different view of the hours that I've worked. So again, it's a little bit more cleaner. It's more focused on the time. So I can see, the days that I've worked, if I've taken a lunch break. So if I hover over the 60 minutes paid. And towards the far right, you can see the hours that I've worked there and the days in total. If I have different shifts, if I've taken lunch break, or maybe I've been jumping around in between classes, going to the office and work. And on the far right, you'll see the position and the location that I worked from. Now, a little bit of tidbits here. You'll see that there is a segment that is highlighted in blue. That is what we call the missed out punch. So, if there was a time that I forgot to clock out in this case, I had to go through the steps of, punching in and out, and I was able to punch in for the day. But now I have this time and this date that is highlighted in blue. So it's still tracking that I forgot to punch in or out during that time. And then for today's date, it says that I'm still clocked in. If I wanted to view time for the past week, I can click on the chevrons that are located on the left. There's a preview, a previous, and a next. So I can hit previous. And this will take me to the hours for last week. And you'll notice that there's already a check mark there. That's because I was going in and, checking on the dashboard page. If I wanted to, I can keep doing that. I can check these segments here or uncheck them. I don't want to approve them. Or let's say I want to approve multiples at once. I want to approve this whole week. What I can do is I can click on the E icon that shows up right above where I have my first check mark. And what happens is that it all approves all the way down. If I click it again, it's going to unapprove them. See? Now, coming in here, reviewing my time, let's say I want to leave a note for my manager. So you'll notice that on these segments, there is a paper icon a little bit towards the left. So it's going to be in between where I go in and check the E column for approvals, and in between the break length. So there's a note section. So what I can do is I can click on that note icon, and this will take me to a window where I can come in and review the notes that I've entered for this punch, if I've entered multiples. Or I can come in and add a new one. So notice that there's an add button, so I can click on this, and I can come in and type a note. Now these notes are going to be viewed by the manager, So this could be one way that you can relay information for the manager to see. Like let's say that in this instance, I came back to work 15 minutes, let's say, but I didn't clock that time. So I can put to work for 15 minutes, starting at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, some other scenario that could occur. So I can save it. There's that segment that is saved, and I can close out of this window. And now you'll notice that the paper icon now shows up in blue. The other ones are grayed out, so the gray means that there's no notes entered for that segment of time. That blue highlight tells you that that's a note that you've entered. If I look at a previous week, you'll see that this blue paper icon, that has to do because I entered a note for my missed punch. So if I click on that, yeah, forgot to clock out. So this is how you can review your time. If you wanted to, there's other things that you can review here as well. For example, you can review the past or the last punch that you made in the software. Maybe you're not sure. You're not sure if you're still clocked in or if you're still out. So how can you tell? So you'll notice that when I click on the view menu, you get all these different options. To the right of hours, you'll see last punch. And this will tell you what was the last punch that you made in here, what day and what time, and even what position or what location. So if you don't remember, it's been a long day, or maybe you're not sure if you punched into the right position or even the right location, you can figure that out on this section. Now, if you wanted to get back to the dashboard, let's say you wanted to use the clock in or clock out buttons from the dashboard example. A way to do that is by clicking the house icon that is on the very far left hand side of the page. So you'll see there's a house there on the green menu there, green bar. And this will take me back to the dashboard where I can then proceed to use the clock operations buttons or have a more simplistic view of my hours worked.